Hey guys, welcome to Housewives of True Crime YouTube channel. We are talking crime in the carpool line. This week's episode 180 is about Ashley and Doug Benefield. Doug was killed, maybe murdered by Ashley, and I'm going to tell you all about it. I have lots of details on our podcast, Housewives of True Crime podcast, but I'm going to give you a little short snap of what happened and what's going to happen as Ashley is set for trial in 2023. So it's up to you. What do you guys think? Is she innocent? Is she guilty? Was it self-defense? Was it not? And let me tell you what happened. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start when Ashley and Doug met each other. It was in 2016 and Ashley was just 24, Doug 54, 30 years her senior, and they meet at a political campaign fundraiser in Florida. Doug is smitten with Ashley. She's a former ballerina. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she seems to have a good head on her shoulders. She's working for this political campaign. They're in the same political party, which seems to work out really well for Doug. They love God above all. They love guns. They love politics. I mean, these two are a match made in heaven. I mean, besides age, right? But what does age really matter these days? As I get older, I don't really care about age as much either. And you know what? Doug didn't. They decide that they are meant for each other. And just after 2 weeks of dating, they go and get hitched. And hitched, I mean, they get married after 13 days. But it didn't seem to matter to them either. So they decide to start a business together, a ballet business called American National Ballet, which is amazing, actually. I am fully down for this. It's a ballet company for the diverse. So you can be big, small, tiny, whatever. If you can dance, you can join their ballet company, and I'm into it. And so is the world, really. I mean, in the ballet world, they were getting articles. It was going to be something. But just as soon as this business starts, Ashley gets pregnant and she is sick. I mean, she is throwing up. It is bad. And so she decides she's going to hightail it to Florida to live with her mom. Well, in Florida, she also decides that she doesn't really need Doug. I guess her mom is all she really needs to raise this baby. So she and her mom go to South Carolina, drop a note at Doug's door saying the relationship is over. Well, just as soon as the relationship's over, the business is over. There's no funding. Something went down with the way that was run. And if you want more details, go to Housewives of True Crime podcast, episode 180. I have it all there. But for now, since I'm keeping this short, we're just going to say the business failed. Lots of people were frauded, in my opinion. There's no money left. Ashley is right pissed, as she thought that Doug was just going to run the business without her and fund the business and whatnot. Well, he didn't. But he's still in love with Ashley. He still wants to be with her. He still wants a family with her. He still wants to see the baby. And Ashley's like, I don't think so, dude. And my pregnancy was so bad. I think you were actually poisoning me with some tea you were giving me every morning. And she has now convinced herself that Doug poisoned her. She takes herself to the hospital, to the doctors. She gets her hair tested for chemicals, and she is now blaming Doug for having some sort of like toxins in her hair. So she doesn't want Doug to see the baby, and Doug's like, well, I still want a family and I still love you. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't. He then takes her to court to get custody of the child, and the judge says, yes, okay, you guys can share custody, and I don't see anything saying that Doug really poisoned you, Ashley, so just get over it. She gets over it. She gets a boyfriend, and Doug's pretty mad about that also, but he still loves her. He is a man of God, and men of God do not get divorced, in his opinion. So he convinces Ashley, after years, that they do need to be together. And she one day just decides, okay, you know what? I'm going to have a family with you. We're going to move to Maryland with my mom and the baby, which is not a baby anymore. And we're going to live a happily ever after. So Doug rents a U-Haul, makes his way to Florida, wants to get it all together, and in a house with nobody there except for Ashley. The baby has been taken on a nighttime walk, which I think is kind of weird. So that mom or the grandma and the baby are no longer in the house. From what Ashley says, they got in a fight and she had to use her gun in self-defense. Ashley shoots Doug Benefield, runs and calls 911 with a neighbor. Then actually the neighbor calls 911. All she says is that she shot her husband in self-defense. Ashley has never said another word. So the police arrive and they find Doug. He's hanging on to his last breaths of life, and he unfortunately passes from his gunshot wounds. So we will never know what exactly happened in that house. The only person that knows what happened is Ashley, and she's not talking. But the police do not believe her story. The way that Doug died, the way he was laying, and there were no defensive wounds on Ashley. So they took her ass to jail and they charged her with second-degree murder. I think second degree because they think that's probably what they can get a conviction of. But I don't know, you guys. Is it murder? Is it self-defense? What do you guys think? I'll tell you that I'm not convinced that it was self-defense, but I don't know all the details. The details will come out more as the trial starts, which will be very interesting, and I will keep you updated. But if you want to hear this whole story, go to episode 180 and catch it there.